The last instrument that we want to discuss about is the discount bond, and we want to know that how to calculate the yield to maturity for this bond. As you know, the discount bond is a short-term bond that on the bond itself there is no interest rate mentioned. So it means that unlike the coupon bonds that the interest rate is fixed and normally they are the long-term instruments, the discount bonds are the short-term instrument and there is no interest rate on it. If there is no interest rate for these bonds, then what is the motivation of the bondholder? Why are we buying the discount bonds if we are not going to gain any interest? So to answer this question, we have to know that normally the discount bond is traded at lower price than the face value. So it means that the interest rate or the gain that we can earn from buying or trading the discount bond is through only the price difference. The price difference between the face value and the price that we pay to buy the bond. So that's why the interest rate of these bonds is calculated with this formula. F here is the face value and P is the price of the bond. So which price? It means that the price that we purchase the bond with it. So normally we expect that this price is lower than the face value. Once we divide it by the initial value or the price that we buy the bond, so it means that we are calculating the rate. Which rate? The rate of the interest or the yield to maturity for this bond. So now one question. The question is guiding us to understand the difference between interest rate and rate of the return on bonds. Specifically on coupon bonds, and that we have a fixed coupon rate, for example 10%. We want to know that if somebody is holding a bond with 10% rate, can he be happy of holding the bonds without noticing that what is happening to the interest rate in the market? For example, if the person is holding a 1,000 bond, a bond with the face value of 1,000 and the interest rate of 10%, and we know that the interest rate in the market has increased to 20%, can the person be happy that I don't care what is happening in the interest rate, whether the interest rate has increased or decreased, I'm so happy that I am earning this 10% on annual basis? To answer this question, let's have this example first, and then we understand that whether we have to be worried about the fluctuation of the interest rate in the market, which can affect the return of the bonds or not. In this example, we are saying that the coupon of the bond is 10%, the face value is 1,000, and we have bought the bond exactly at the face value, which is 1,000. But we were so lucky that the next year, just holding the bond for 1 year, we were able to sell the bonds at 1,002. So it means that just within 1 year, the price difference of this bond has been 1,002 minus 1,000, it has been the price difference. If we want to know the rate of our gain, because this is the amount that we have gained, so the rate of our gain, so it means that we have to divide this price difference over the initial value. The initial value is the value that we have paid to buy the bonds. So this is one part of our gain. The second part of our gain is, of course, the amount that we are receiving, because the bond is a coupon bond. So on annual basis, every year we have received this rate. This rate is, of course, 10%, or instead of this 10%, you can put the amount that you receive is 100, and then the value that you have paid to buy the bond is 1,000, similar to this. So this is actually equal to this. So you can put any of them is the same. So in another words, I can say that the return of the bond, is comprising of two components. The first component, of course, is the coupon rate. For example, I show it with C, or you can show it with I as well, interest rate, plus the gain of the capital. So it means that I show it with G. This is capital gain, or it can be capital loss as well. So if the price is increasing, so of course it means that it is capital gain. But if the price of the bond is decreasing and is going below the value of below the face value or the amount that you have paid to buy the bond, of course you're going to be in loss. So that's why rate of the return is interest rate plus capital gain or capital loss. Now let's get back to the question that in the beginning of this session we raised. If the interest rate in the market, for example, from 20%, the interest rate is increasing to, from 10%, the interest rate is increasing to 20%. What is happening to the return on the bond? Is the bondholder supposed to be happy, or the bondholder is in a great loss without noticing it? If you remember, we discussed that there is inverse relationship between yield to maturity or interest rate and the bond price. So once the interest rate is increasing, so it means that the bond price is decreasing. Decrease in bond price, specifically in a situation that there is a huge increase in interest rate, so we expect a huge reduction in the bond price. The reduction in the bond price, it means that the return of the bond, it means that this component of the return of the bond is turned to be negative. And instead of capital gain, then we're going to experience the capital loss. So it means that G will be in loss. It's not gain anymore. Instead of G, we can have loss or gain. So in this situation, it depends that how much is this loss. Because interest rate of the bond, which is the coupon, is always fixed, is this 10%. So if we want to know that at the end, the rate of the return of the bond is positive or negative, it depends that how much is the loss. Is the loss is equal to the interest rate, so there will be no gain for the bond on the bond. If the loss is more than the interest rate, so it means that the bondholder is in loss. If the loss is less than this, so it means that yet, although the interest rate in the market has increased, but yet the bondholder is earning something, is gaining something. So do remember that the important fact is that first there is inverse relationship between interest rate and bond price, and once the bond price is calculated based on the interest rate or yield to maturity in the market, then it will help us to understand that whether we are experiencing a capital loss or capital gain. Do remember that I is always fixed. It is return on the coupon bond, and the capital gain or capital loss can be both positive or negative. I think we are done with the second topic, which is the understanding of interest rate. We have discussed in the various interest rate in various debt instruments, and we're going to have some practice in order you to master the topic. All the best.